Hey guys, how you doing? Josh here from Memento Productions, and today we have an awesome tutorial for you. Actually, more like a safety video on DJI's batteries. Here we have the DJI Inspire 1. We have 4 different batteries here. We have one TB47, which is the smaller DJI Inspire 1 battery, and we have 3 TB48s, which are the larger capacity batteries. Now, this technique, or more like a safety tutorial, applies to all lithium-ion charged batteries, especially the DJI ones, because we've been having a lot of complaints of these batteries failing in flight. So today we're going to be talking about how to avoid that phenomenon. So basically, these are very high-powered batteries, meaning there's a lot of power, a lot of charge in these batteries. They have to output a ton of power, which is why after a flight, these batteries heat up quite a bit. It's because they're expelling a lot of power to power up these motors on the Inspire. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, why do these batteries lose charge or fail during flight? First off, if we charge up these batteries and we leave them for a few days unused, the charge actually dissipates from the battery. Now, this is not a phenomenon that's only with DJI batteries. This is a phenomenon that goes with all kinds of lithium-ion or rechargeable batteries. You know the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it? Well, it goes for these batteries especially. So, I strongly recommend that you do a full charge the night before or the day of a flight. It's very, very important. Now, these batteries do have computer chips inside that monitor the voltage and each cell's health and strength. So always keep an eye on the voltage monitor in your app during the flight, in the DJI Go app, I mean. So basically, we have to picture it like this. Let's say I'm flexing, right? This is a fully charged battery. This is a very simple way of explaining it. So basically, if I keep flexing and flexing, pretend this is a fully charged battery. My bicep is a fully charged battery. How long do you think I can keep this arm flexing before I become extremely exhausted? How long do you think that's going to happen? Well, picture this bicep as one of these batteries. I cannot hold this flex for way too long. My strength will eventually dissipate, just like the charge out of these batteries dissipates if you don't use it. So you have to keep that in mind. So my safe practices for these DJI batteries: charge the night before or charge the day of the flight. Now, there's a rumor going around that these batteries do fail, especially if you fly on a half or partially charged battery. This is true if you've waited too long between flights. Let's say I want to use one battery for 2 flights. I put it in my Inspire. I turn on my Inspire. I do a flight, only use about half the power of the battery. I pack up the Inspire, go to another spot within 20 minutes and fly again. The battery will not fail. However, if I wait 3 or 4 hours and then fly on that same battery the second time around, there is a higher chance of the battery failing. Why does this happen? When the batteries are turned off, the voltages are not monitored by the computer chip that's inside. You have to keep that in mind. So when you first turn on your battery, the computer chip is going to remember what its last charge was right before you shut off the battery, meaning that the battery could have dissipated its charge, but the computer doesn't know that. The computer chip does not know that in the battery. So when you turn on your battery, the computer is actually going to remember the charge remaining the last time you shut off, right before the last time you shut off your battery. So that's why there's some problems with the computer chip recognizing what voltage and how much power you have left in these batteries. If that makes no sense to you at all, please comment below and I'll be more than happy to show you a graph of how these lithium-ion charged batteries work. So only fly on freshly charged batteries, and if you want to use one battery for multiple flights, don't fly longer than 20 or 30 minute increments between flights, okay? So that's very, very important. Again, I will state, when you shut off your battery, the computer is going to remember that charge the computer chip inside the battery is going to remember that charge right before you shut off your battery. So when you turn on your battery again, or you check its, if you check its lights, the LEDs on top, it's going to go off of that last charge right before you shut off the battery last. Keep that in mind. When you turn on the battery and you put it in the Inspire, again, it's going to remember the charge from right before you shut it off last. So in order for it to get a correct monitor or correct reading of the battery, you have to fly the Inspire off maybe 1 or 2 feet just in case of a failure, so it won't, crash and burn. The computer has to run its tests, and it has to check each cell in order to get a better reading of the battery's charge. Now this takes up to 2 or 3 minutes. So if you're questioning a battery's, if you're questioning a battery, fly above ground for 1 to 3 minutes and see if the voltage drops happen, because that can be a huge problem, which is why I always recommend flying on freshly charged batteries. So it's very, very important to use the discharge function that these batteries come with. In the DJI Go app, if you go to the MC settings, you can actually select after how many days you want these batteries to self-discharge. That's very, very important, because if you don't use these batteries for weeks and you don't set the discharge time, you're gonna have a problem flying. The batteries are most likely gonna fail. If you set the automatic discharge for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, then it automatically drains the battery for you. That way you can freshly charge the battery again and not have to worry about it failing during flight. So I hope this safety tutorial has helped you out and maybe has opened your eyes onto how these batteries work and operate, and the weaknesses of these batteries. The good news is that there's new technology coming out on how to get really, really reliable batteries that don't have any of these problems. Now, last tip before I go, if you are going to do a full discharge of the battery to exercise its cells, it's very important that you exercise the cells of the batteries. Otherwise, the computer is not going to have a proper reading of the cells. So I recommend after 20 flights, do a full discharge of the battery going down to under 5%. That way the computer chip inside the batteries can actually have a proper reading of each cell, the health of each cell, and how much, the voltage levels of each cell. So that's very, very important. You got to exercise the battery, just like you got to exercise yourself to stay in shape. Well, guess what? Picture the batteries being like a real human. You have to exercise them in order for them to retain their proper, function, right? To keep your Inspire in the air or Phantom in the air as safe, so you don't have to worry about it failing. As safe as possible. You want to be as safe as possible. So I hope this has helped you out. Again, if this was a little confusing, email me or comment below down in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to explain it further. If you would like me to review a product, please email me at info@capturethemomentum.com. If you are a manufacturer and you would like me to review one of your products, also please email me at info@capturethemomentum.com. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, also you can comment below, and I'd love to, explain this further for you. And if you have any questions, again, comment below or email me. Now it's time to go for a flight. See you guys later.
Crossing a line that don't exist. Feel like the drug